Good evening. Thank you and welcome to the City of Kankakee November Budget Committee meeting. It is Monday, November 10th at 5:30. We will begin. The first portion of the meeting is devoted to public comment. This is the only portion of the meeting where public comment is accepted. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to roll call. Alderwoman Malone Marshall.
Present.
Alderman O'Brien here. Alderman Osinga advised me he would not be here. Alderman Marzak.
Present.
Alderman Navarez.
Here.
Alderwoman Johnson.
Here.
And Alderman Jones is not here at the moment. We do have a quorum. We don't have presentations or old business. Under new business, the first item is the minutes from our last committee meeting. Those were not prepared. I did not prepare them. So I don't have them here tonight. I'll have them for the next meeting. We'll have both October and November. So that brings us to the review of the October 2025 city financial statements. Comptroller Rogers, would you please walk through those with us?
Yep.
Thank you.
So if we look at the revenues, again, we're in really good shape in our revenues. We got our fourth tax levy payment. So we're sitting at like 96% of the tax levy collections. We have one payment that's left. It's usually a much smaller payment in December, but it should bring us up to very close to where we should be on tax levy year to date. There is one item that I noticed that I need to do a little investigation on, and that's the local use tax. I need to look to make sure something didn't hit that account that doesn't belong in there, because that seems awfully high. Other than that, all of the revenues are running well. If you turn up to page 2, there is an item there that needs to be noted, and that's the grants, other governments. So we received $300,000 in an IDNR grant that had been completed in 2023 for East River Walk. It is 50% of the grant. The other 50% will come at the end when we submit the expenditures for reimbursement. But that does make it look a little odd there because it's sitting at 600% on that line.
That's line 350 there at the very top?
The very top line,
Yeah,
yes.
350, okay.
Other than that, there's nothing really to note on the rest of the revenues. So looking at page 3, we're sitting at over 60% with only half the year. I'm not going to walk through all of the individual pages on the expenditures. I did just want to note that there's a couple of items, both of them happen to fall on page 7, where we got reimbursement, and part of what was being reimbursed or refunded was expenditures from last year. So there's a small negative amount on the line for 31,549 travel and training. There was a conference that was canceled, and part of it had been paid for on 2025. And then the ammunition and supplies, there was a small piece of that that we were reimbursed for that had actually been expended in 2025. Other than that, all of the departments are running well under the 50% mark. If you look on page 8, there is the item under 539 that's up in that top department, police pension other. It is at 96%, and that is just a timing of when those bond payments were due. And you'll find the same thing again pops up when we hit the police side of it, the fire side of it, and that's on page 10, up in the first half of the report, also under number 539, fire pension contribution. And that's just owing to when those bond payments were due. So those have been paid for the year, and that amount is covered.
Paula, on those, is that the amount with the property taxes? With the contribution, the match,
Yes, that's you're correct. That's
Okay.
what it is. It's
Okay.
not the bond payment.
yeah, that's, I knew we had just been talking about that, so I knew that's what you meant, but I just wanted to clarify.
Then there's another item that I need to check on page 11, building lease and rental. It is correct, but I'm not sure it's supposed to be under the city. It's the $38.50 a month for the economic development rental on their building. So I need to look into that expenditure. And then I ran a total on the salaries overall. All of the departments are running in a really good position, under the 50%. And if we total all of the salaries, we're at $7.1 million, and we're sitting at only 44% for the year. Keeping in mind, we do still have 2 outstanding contracts. The 2 outstanding contracts will have money that's owing to them from past periods, so that may change some, but we're still in a really good place for being halfway through the year. That brings us to cash balances. Cash balances, again, we have set up most of our accounts to make sure that we're receiving interest. The only ones that haven't been are the general account, because it's a checking account. We don't have that one set up, but I've been transferring the money less often and keeping it in the Illinois funds account, so that we're earning more interest on it. I don't move it until we need it. So we're sitting at $125,000 in interest for this month. And as you can see, our cash balances are in really good shape. We're about $340,000 higher than we were last month. The next 2 pages is the report on tax levy, the distributions. The first page gives you the first 3 that we collected. When you flip up to the 3rd page, that's our most recent one that was collected October 27th. We had a total of $387,000 come in then. We don't have much left in December, but we will have one more payment coming that'll include whatever interest we get. I expect the interest payments to be a little smaller this year because they haven't had as big a holdback. They've actually been paying it more timely to us without holding back the funds. And then the last section here is the ARPA. And ARPA, we are running down the clock on that. We're sitting at under $2 million now in the allocation balance. We have till December of next year to spend the rest of that money. And then did anybody have any questions? I know you haven't had the report in your hands very long, but did anything jump out that you have questions on?
Al's ready.
I'm sorry. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
It's related to the ARPA. If they don't use their funds by next December, are we just out? We have to send that money back, or how does that work? I don't remember.
If they don't,
If they don't use their funds, like if we've allocated something to a project
if there's any funds as of December 31st
of next year.
not expended, yes, it has to be returned to the federal government,
Okay. December 31st of '26, though.
26.
Okay. So these outstanding ones still have a year-ish to use it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we allocate that money if it's not used to somebody else before we return it?
It all had to be earmarked last December 31st of 2024. So this, what you see here is where it has to be now. That's why we had all those, kind of those meetings, and we put it there. But actually, I don't think it'll be a problem. I mean, I'm looking at all this, I can go down, you know, the ECA rental, Barbie and her team will go through that very easily. The ECA administration, they will go through that very easily. The software, we'll spend every nickel of that by next spring. I'm looking through some of these. Youth empowerment, that one will be interesting. That one we need to get with the school district on and talk about. The Justice Academy, that's just a matter of them, they've already spent it, they just need to invoice us. Israeli Outreach Clinic, they just need to invoice us.
Actually, I
That
think
one's
they
done.
did, Mayor.
That one's done.
Oh, they're done, okay.
Says the
Yep.
money is due to them.
Okay.
We just haven't.
Arbor House, well,
She's been in touch,
Yeah.
Jenny's been in touch.
I don't think any of these are going to be a real big problem. The only one I see on there could be is youth empowerment through District 111. That's going to be the biggest one. So they need to start expending those funds on their end.
Anyone else have questions for Comptroller Rogers about her report? Okay, thank you, Comptroller. We'll move on. The updates, we have a few updates here. Would you like to update us on those items as well?
The audit update, they did file for the extension. The extension has been approved, and we now have until December 26th to get the audit completed and those financials filed with the state. ARPA, we kind of covered. And the levy update, I reached out to the Kankakee County Assessor's Office to get the updated amounts. Our rate-setting EAV that's available right now is 10.8% higher since April. April was the final number that determined how much we were going to get from our request, and it's 11.1% higher than the number that we had when we submitted the request last December. So the rate being that much higher, we should be able to cut our tax percentage again because we have a higher base that we're putting it on.
So the pie got bigger.
The
so to
pie
speak,
got bigger.
in the last year.
Yep, almost 11%.
10%, 11%.
Yep.
Anyone have questions about any of those updates? We've talked about it.
Chairman, could Comptroller Rogers speak to the dates that we're looking at for December with levy?
Yes, please.
So we intended to have figures to present here at the next budget committee meeting, and then they would be approved at that next city council meeting.
The December 15th council meeting.
Correct.
But I think you wanted them posted for the first meeting in December, right?
We are hoping to have it, like our draft before we can have good discussion here at Budget Committee around that December 1st date. But as we all know, December 1st for the first meeting of December with levy makes it really tricky because we're going to be passing it as soon as we possibly can be, right? So we're going to do our best. We're in a good place to do that, having obtained these numbers, from the assessor's office now, which is a good start. But there's a lot of things we have to look at. We basically are, when we have to do this, we sit down with the mayor. We're starting the budget process in November for next May, really, is when it actually starts. We have to see, what we need to allow funds for, if we've had any changes within some of the funds, and start to those allocations. Obviously, the one that Comptroller Rogers and I have talked the most about is making sure the pension situation that we've address that appropriately now that we have all of the bonds, and all the bonds have to be paid for, make sure that we still have all the payments we need for those, and then also on top of that, some of the cash that we're still giving for the pension, so that they still can have some operational cash to make their current pension payments to some extent. It's not going to cover an eighth of it, but it's a good start because then they don't have to take out from their funds in the marketplace. Let those marketplace funds run and, get that interest, get that growth, which is going on in the marketplace right now. So we have to look at those items and along with the actuarial reports that go along with those. So we have several parts left, but we are certainly willing to motion with the levy.
Very good. Any questions on levy or anything else? Schedule? Yes.
Are we seeing any, with the government shutdown, not getting payments on different things, or any of the grants not being funded, or anything that we've noticed?
No, so far they've been actually quicker. When we put in for the HUD payments, we've been getting them probably 3 days faster than we were before the shutdown.
And there's been some fairly large reimbursements lately.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So, I know I got through really fast to the IRS with a question for them last Friday, too.
Good.
And the young man that helped me, I said something about being so grateful that he was there working, and he said, well, right now, gratitude's pretty much all I'm getting.
And then for a week from tonight, the city council meeting, I believe Bob Vale will be there to kind of do a wrap-up of the bond issuance, is that correct?
Yes, he will be there on the 17th. We've already been in communication. He's excited to come back. Like we alluded to, I think maybe last budget committee meeting or two ago, it was just really fun to see how the market worked with us and how we ended up with that additional savings. And he'll have all that ready to go on a spreadsheet for you all to look at that night in presentation.
Very good. Okay, that is it. Anyone have questions or comments before we wrap up? Another short meeting, we'll have a long one next time. Any comments from the administration? Anyone want to share?
I have one more. With the ARPA, I did file the report, and we filed it almost a week earlier than usual, which is kind of nice. It's getting to be easy now because we've spent so much of the money, so many of the projects are completed, so we don't have to report on those. So that was really a pleasant thing, and I just really want to give thanks to Paula and to her staff for what they've done with that ARPA report. What used to take me a while to synthesize and do, I now can do all of it in about an hour and a half. So this used to take like a day and a half, and now we're down, and some of it's volume, for sure, but most of it's because of the clarity with the reporting that we're getting from out of the comptroller's office, and I greatly appreciate that.
Wonderful.
Good job.
Alderman Jones?
Thank you, Chairman. And Mayor, you say you're gonna follow up with the school district, right? 'Cause we don't necessarily wanna lose we don't wanna lose $300,000. I'm imagining, I don't know
No.
what's going on over there. I mean,
Yeah, I'll have to get with Dr. Lance, or at the time, it was herself, and then I believe Chris Bowen. They wanted to keep it for their student work program,
Yeah.
but I gotta see where they're at.
And does it have, is that specific?
We tied it into District 111. So when we made the allocation, we made sure we did it at District 111 in case there was some nimbleness that they might have going on within their district. So basically, it needs to be for youth, which is everything at District 111,
Okay.
and to them, so correct on that?
Yes, the description, the narrative that I wrote for it was very vague. Because we're not the school district. We didn't know, exactly how they would use that. So just like Mayor said, we wanted to keep that open-ended within, still making sure we had that money set aside for, 111.
So that they could, implement it with, within the,
But I'll follow up with them and just tell them they need to have their ideas moving forward sooner than later.
okay.
I mean, I'm still not panicked about any of this money. We still have 13 months. I think we'll go through it all very easily, but with that one, we don't have as much control. The other ones, we either have internal control, or we're working with these agencies and they're one-time lump sum payments, so it's easy. Theirs could be a lot of different things.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Is there a motion to adjourn? So moved by Alderman Marzak, second.
I'll second.
Second by Johnson. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.